Hi everyone. So today is Sunday. I probably won't post this until tomorrow on Monday, but I am here on my Sunday, on my day off, doing some things that I wouldn't normally do on a Sunday, but because I had a work event yesterday, I am in the midst of getting all these things I would normally do on a Saturday on a Sunday. And I am just stuck in the midst of wanting to procrastinate and just trying to implement some things that I would normally do if I want to procrastinate to keep myself on track. So I thought I'd come on here and just make a quick video about this. So, procrastination, that thing we all do, putting off now what we end up having to do at the very last minute. Why do we do it? Some people call it laziness, but I really don't think it's that. Sometimes I think it's just you are overwhelmed with the task you need to do because all the parts that go into it. And because of that, we get anxiety. Sometimes it's we know we have to do it, but also know that, hey, something else needs to get taken care of first that would make this task much easier for me to do. And in the midst of doing that task, you get off tangent on another task to make that task easier, or you get distracted and go off and do that other thing. And it just goes on and on and on and on. Another reason we procrastinate is simply for the desire to be doing something fun or exciting. The last thing I want to be doing right now is all these different tasks I need to get done. I would rather chill and just maybe watch maybe a YouTube video or a show I really want to watch. For other people, I'd encourage you to ask yourself in your day to day life, all that you do you leave yourself any time for self care and relaxation? That may be why you procrastinate, because not all procrastination is about putting off something to do enjoyable things. Sometimes it's just that your mind and body needs the break, and that's what it's trying to tell you. So work with yourself and not against yourself in those instances. Lastly, another thing people don't realize is that it's very natural and very human to procrastinate. And because it's very natural and very human of us to do this, we shouldn't beat ourselves up for it. What I already said about why we do it, such as being overwhelmed and it provoking anxiety, are very real things that our mind and bodies respond to. And we need to remember this as we try to figure out what to do to combat this to be more successful in the ways that we want to be. And just like any habit, this can be changed. I've personally been a procrastinator, like I already said before, and I finally got to a point where I just needed a change because the consequences of the procrastination wasn't anything I wanted to continue experiencing. And I've done three things to help myself with curtailing this procrastination. And I want to add that these three things are still things you can do even while experiencing things like ADD, ADHD, anxiety, and depression. These are all things I've suggested to clients of mine, and they all have been very useful to these clients. The first task is what I would call use the staircase and not the cliff. Imagine that the task you want to complete is a cliff you need to scale. Break down the task into smaller, more manageable ones that can be a staircase instead. Instead of attempting to conquer the entire task at once, the idea is to take it step by step, like an ascending staircase, making the overall process less overwhelming and more achievable. This can be done whether it's writing out all the things you need to get done in the day or taking a particular task and breaking it down to smaller chunks. When things become overwhelming and are comprised of so many tasks to complete, it becomes something that's hard that we don't want to do. For example, writing a lengthy research paper can seem like an overwhelming cliff, but it can be made into a manageable staircase by writing out an outline, with each section of the outline being a step along the staircase. In essence, changing the cliff to a staircase is a powerful mindset shift that really empowers you to approach tasks with a structured strategy. It encourages a focus on progress rather than perfection, giving you that sense of accomplishment along the way. The second step I take is what I would call take advantage of the Zeigarnik effect. This second thing I would suggest is setting time limits on what you have to do and pair it with something fun for a certain amount of time. This is somewhat based on the Zeigarnik effect, which suggests that people remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. This effect really plays on our cognitive processes by strategically utilizing the way our brain works to enhance productivity and motivation by breaking tasks into smaller, more manageable tasks. It actually incorporates some of the last step, but it adds a little razzle dazzle by adding that set time limit to it. For example, let's say you need to clean your room, but it seems like an enormous task. So only commit yourself to 5 minutes of cleaning, which minimizes the perceived burden and makes it easier to start. And then you can pair it with a reward or something enjoyable, like watching an episode of a show you really want to watch. Then, when that episode is over, you can go back to cleaning your room and do a different task, like separating all your laundry into things that maybe need to be hung up, things that need to be folded, and so on. Then, when that's done, you can watch another episode. The psychological tension created by the unfinished task, which is having the whole room clean, serves as a positive motivator as this step by step process provides a visible sense of accomplishment after completing each segment. Breaking things down into manageable tasks where I have a reward at the end really helps to give me that motivation to get things done. And it helps that it's not all done at the same time. And at the end of the day, I find that I was able to get way more accomplished than I thought I would have. My third step is to celebrate. I always have made sure to celebrate my success of completing a task, no matter how small. I would literally stop after finishing a task and either say out loud or say it in my head, I did a great job. I'm really proud of myself for getting that done. Taking that time to celebrate yourself gives you that mental boost to keep on going. If you know you did it once, it's going to give you that extra incentive to do it again. Next thing you know, you're accomplishing your next task and you've created a wide range of goals. And if your first thought when I have said this is, that can't be me, or all that is too much to realistically think can be done, I want to challenge that and ask that you just try these tips for a week. What's the worst that can happen? You procrastinate more. And I'm going to give you what may seem like a bonus tip, but it really isn't. It's just more of something you want to keep in mind. In order to carry these three tips out, you are going to need to let go of any thoughts of perfectionism or thoughts of how things should be done. When you set excessively high standards for yourself, and expect perfection in every aspect of a task, it often becomes a paralyzing force. The fear of not meeting these unrealistic standards can lead to procrastination as you hesitate to start a new task due to the anxiety associated with any potential imperfections. This way of thinking really works against you by keeping you from starting a task. By consciously letting go of those perfectionist tendencies, you free yourself from all those unrealistic expectations, as well as giving you a more realistic idea of the effort that's going to be required for that task. So, this bonus tip is very, very clear. You can still strive for excellent or whatever is sufficient for you, but don't hold yourself to being perfect. All right, so like I mentioned before, give these tips a try. Beat procrastination. Remember, this is something that is very much part of human nature, but it doesn't have to rule our lives. These practical tips are very reasonable and realistic. So I hope you enjoy the information that I provided you today, and I am off to take care of all the other things that I need to take care of. So until next time, take care and bloom.